evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you this wonderful, hopefully wherever you are, warm and happy, comfortable February. Hate to say that month. I don't know about you, but all of my life I have had trouble saying February. So at any rate, it's great to be here again. Such a delight to see so many people here this evening. I'm going to just double check in with Lisa. Can you all see me, hear me, see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. And I'm going to ask Lisa how your voice is doing because you spent the last week with kind of laryngitis. How are you doing?
As long as I don't talk too much, we're good to go.
Okay, because as you know, the way we handle the psychic hour monthly is that Lisa, my assistant, will be in the chat room. And so she'll be typing like mad. And any questions you have on anything that's either related to our session this evening or anything else, you have Lisa, the font of wisdom, there to ask those questions of. Everyone who's on, I'm seeing some new names, so I'm going to go back over how we handle things here. These are monthly sessions. They're always free, so it's my gift to you folks because you are all absolutely wonderful, and I look forward to meeting with you every month. We do this every month. You can just sign up on my website and just make sure that you're scheduled for all of them throughout the year, and that way we'll send you out reminders, but you'll be able to come to every one of them. Everybody who's here is going to get a chance to ask a question. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to read everybody here this evening. I do complete and detailed readings when I work with you. So we're not going to rush things and shorten the time that we're spending with you. So anybody who doesn't get called, bear in mind that my guides, and those of you who've been with me for years at this point know how it works. My guides have a way, they know everybody here, okay? I may not see you or know that you're here, but my guides are connecting to every one of you right now. And even though they might be asking a question for one specific person, they're including an answer for you in their answer to that person. So if you pay attention to what I'm talking about throughout this next hour, you are going to get your answers during the actual sessions, even though it's being given to somebody else. So the first thing you need to do is to pay attention. Even though I'm not speaking directly to you, I will be speaking directly to you while I'm reading somebody else. Now, the other thing is anybody who stays until the end of the hour and did not get a chance to speak with me audibly over the phone, you have the opportunity to send me an email anytime before 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow evening. And sometime in the next week or two, I will get back to you and I will answer that question. This is why I say everybody who attends and stays till the end will get to ask a question of Sandy and her guides. Okay, now here are the things I need to know as you ask your questions. I want to know your first name, only the first name, because you know this gets published on various social networks, so we don't want people tracking you down. So just your first name. And we want to know where you're calling from, because that's always fun. We want to know what you're most grateful for in your life right now. Folks, at this point, you understand, you've heard it and read it everywhere, an attitude of gratitude. I have that posted all over my house, an attitude of gratitude. Sometimes you have to remind yourself to be grateful when there's rough stuff going on in your life, but you can always find something. If you just change the narrative a little bit, all of a sudden you can see it from a positive point of view. Always find something to be grateful for, because when you have that attitude of gratitude, the universe begins to deliver to you those things that you really want. It changes your vibration in a very positive way. So back to what I want, when you're called upon for a reading, or when you write your email to me or Lisa after this session. And what we want is your name, first name only, where you're from, what you're most grateful for in this moment, your sun sign, and that's because armed with your sun sign and this horary chart, that's what we call that, this chart that you see on the screen in front of you, armed with that, I can give you enormous amounts of information because my guides are astrologers. And so you're going to get lots of information. And this is another reason why you should be listening, even though I'm talking to somebody else, because I'm going to be talking about a whole sign. And if you are that sign, all of a sudden you're going to get direct information that's pertinent to yourself too. So we want to know your sun sign. And last, we're going to ask your simple question. And when I say a simple question, I know something like, what's my life purpose sounds like it's a simple question, but it's not. That requires an hour-long reading with me and my guides. A simple question would be, will my house sell this month? Okay, so you get the difference between the question that is kind of open-ended. If you ask my guides one of those open-ended questions via email after our session is done tonight, they're not going to answer that. Instead, they're going to answer what they think is most important to you right now. And that's just what you're going to get. So if you really have a specific question, make sure you ask it. Okay, I'm going to start our session just by giving a little review of things that are happening. My website, sandyanastasi.com, that's where you go to sign up for these sessions and also get my newsletter and find out anything that's going on. Always the front page of my newsletter or front page of my website will have the elements of the newsletter on it. So if you didn't get the newsletter in your inbox that month, you can go and you can read and watch the videos on the front of the website. I also have tons of classes. A lot of them are self-study. We have a VIP membership that has over 300 fully downloadable audio MP3s on it for teaching. And I do meet with VIPs 4 times a year, so you get to ask me questions and unlimited questions in the community. Your questions get addressed. Okay, onward. Please download my app. With all the crazy things going on with the internet these days, it's very important for you to have that app. Just in case something would happen with the Kajabi website that I host on, the app will still work. Okay, so please get that app. You may have heard me mention our community. We have an open community. As soon as you signed up for the newsletter, which I know you did because you're on this seminar with me this evening, you automatically got a library. So if you go into the website, you'll see a tab. The first tab on the left is library. Click on it and you've already got stuff in your library. The first thing that you have in your library is the tab for the open community. And you can click on that open community and you can make any comment you like. Lisa and I both see that. We do respond, but also everybody else who participates in these psychic hours gets to participate in that conversation if they so choose. It doesn't just automatically come to you, folks. Answers that would be on the open community, you do have to go in and look. So try and make that one of your stops by every couple of days just to see if there's anything in there that might be worth reading, if not offering your own insights on. My What's Coming in 2025 webinar last November that I gave was absolutely mind-blowing. We're living it now. If you want to hear what me and my guide said about that, that is still available on my website for sale. So if you didn't get it or you weren't able to go to that session and you want to know what the next 8 or 10 months is going to bring, well, go and get that and listen to it, and you'll be happy and astonished, I think, at the same time. It's interesting. VIPs, I know I see a lot of you on here with me tonight. Your next coaching call, please make a note of it, is May 8th of this year, 2025, and those coaching calls are at 7 p.m. Folks, if you are not a VIP, but you're interested in being one, why don't you put a note in that open community, hey, if anybody here is a VIP, can you tell us how you like it? And just get some feedback from some of our VIPs about what they're experiencing in that program. It's very inexpensive to join. It's only $197 a year or $20 a month. And if it covers astrology, psychic development, Kabbalah pathworking, numerology, psychic healing, tarot, it goes on and on and on. Every program I taught that I had put on recorded verbally for over 40 years is in there. So it's a tremendous font of information. And it becomes all yours to go through at your leisure and learn. It does become part of your library. If you're somebody who likes self-study, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity because you also get the support system of Lisa and I in the community. It's the VIP community, and also meeting with me and Lisa 4 times a year so that you can actually get those questions. There are other perks too. VIPs get discounts on their birthday reading each year. We just do interesting things with our VIPs, and so it's, like I said, it's well worth belonging to. But find out about it first. Over here, March specials we're just about done with March. So I didn't include everything, but on those March, actually, yeah, I did. This should have been taken off. Never mind. Skip that. February specials. We're just about done with February. Hang on a minute, folks. This is bothering me. Let's just get it out of here. I don't know how that happened. Obviously, Sandy was having a little bit of difficulty with that. Now I know why it was too long to fit in this spot. Okay, our February specials, our remaining specials. I have a reading coaching special that focuses on relationships that is going to be gone in a week. So I wanted to emphasize that because for this month only, once we're out of this month, that special is going to be gone. And it's not my typical, this is what your relationship is about. We're actually going to be focusing on not just your significant other relationship, but the how you relate, what's going on with you, how you relate. And the reason I put that reading special in during February wasn't just because it was Valentine's Day. By the way, happy Valentine's Day. I consider all of February to be Valentine's Day. The reason I put that in, though, as my reading special is because so many of us are finding our relationships changing right now. I believe we're going through a dimensional shift. Our vibration is, most of us, many of us, it's becoming more refined. We're moving to a higher level of awareness, of consciousness, but not everybody is doing this. So, and not everybody's doing it in the same way. So what's happening with your relationships is that you're often outgrowing them, or maybe you haven't outgrown them, but they're changing. And you have to kind of learn how you can relate to that person all over again. It's just interesting. Some relationships are going away. Some relationships that you never thought you would have are forming. What you think you want in a relationship is suddenly different than what you wanted all of your life long. You might have issues going on with a kid or a person at work, or just with relating to what's going on in the world. That's a relationship as well. So this reading coaching special on relationships was put in to help people right now to move through relationship changes that are happening. So it's a little different than what I've done with relationships in the past. My second reading special for February, and this is still available for another week, spots are available for my one-on-one coaching program. Okay, and a lot of you aren't aware that I also do coaching, not just psychic readings. People who work with me in my coaching generally buy a package of coaching where they actually meet with me 6 times in a row, or some people meet with me at 12 times once a month for a year. It's a matter of your choice how you want to do it. The thing is, by buying a package, we don't just do psychic readings. Hey, this is what's coming. We get down deep into the why things are happening and what can be changed and shifted, what you have to look out for, what you can look in your life as an asset for that can help you to build and grow into the things you want. And remember, when you're getting coaching with me, it's not just me. You're getting coaching with Sandy and her guides. And my guides are pretty brilliant people, so it's well worth it. But look into it. There's still spots available, and you can check into that on my website. There's a coaching tab there, a coaching page. It's also not too late for my psychic development program that started on January 29th. So if maybe your finances have shifted a little bit, maybe you're ready to get a payment plan, which we have. Maybe you're just realizing, yeah, I'm sorry I passed that up. We do have spots left in the psychic development program. You would have missed the foundational level. So if you have had a little background in psychic development, you'd be able to join right in, no problem. You would not get our certificate unless you made up that first series. And if you have no background in psychic development, but you think you can work hard enough to make that up, that's still doable. Okay, you've only missed the first 3 sessions. So if anybody's interested, get in touch with Lisa and she'll tell you how to go about doing that. Also, folks, my Kabbalah Transformation card deck is now available on my website. It is $42, which includes shipping in the continental US. And my apologies, folks, if you're outside of the continental US, I cannot ship them to you at present. I'm working with a company that will do direct shipping all over the world, but we don't have that in place quite yet. Okay, and this is a sample of those cards. They're meant for people who've taken my Kabbalah path working. They're meant to help you on your transitional and transformational journey to higher consciousness. But guess what? I've discovered, working with you folks, as a matter of fact, that these cards are really good cards. They just plain work. So you can actually do readings with these cards. They're fun. Okay. Now, in March, this starts next week. I'm doing this What's Coming in the Next 6 Month reading special. It's $350. That's the normal price for a reading with me. Why did I put this in? You'll see it on my website. Why? Because, folks, I'm not, my egg reading, your at a glance reading is no longer available. And a whole lot of people want to know what's coming in your own life, in the world. And yes, this is the thing I'm most known for, is future prediction. So this is still available, easy to sign up for. I also have my coaching special, which is Finding Your Right Path. It's going to be just one session, but it gives you an idea of what it's like to get coaching with Sandy and her guides. It also is $350 for that session. And why did I put the Finding Your Right Path in to our monthly specials for March? Because so much confusion is out there in the world right now. A lot of people are feeling like they're, I guess the best way I could put it is totally frozen in place. Because how can I make any big decisions or big choices or move forward with anything that are my dreams or my intentions if I don't know what the government's going to be doing, if I don't know what the economy is going to be doing, if I don't know what my money is going to be doing. So this is it's been a very difficult time. And in March, if you read my newsletter, you're going to see there's a whole lot that's hitting us in March. It's going to get very confusing. And so this Finding Your Right Path coaching special is going to be very important for a whole lot of people who want to find their way through all that confusion in a healthy way. My Psychic Protection Tips program is half off during March, and that's when you buy the Right Path coaching special. So get that coaching special, and then you can get the Psychic Protection Tips program half off. That's a big, big savings on that program. And not only is it fun, but it's extremely beneficial to you, and we need it right now. We all need that. My beginner's tarot self-study course is 30% off during March. So if you're interested in learning the tarot, not the cards I have on the board, but the actual tarot, which has 78, I believe, cards in it. That beginner tarot class teaches you the beginner tarot. It's a great place to start if you want to learn to be a tarot reader. And finally, don't forget to get your Kabbalah Path working cards. And here they are up here. So you can get an idea what some of them look like. And I did pick one for our session this evening. This one that you're looking at is actually Path 31. You can go on my website. I have all of the paths. There's a tab on the website that says free. Click free, and you're going to see an option for Kabbalah Path working. And you click on that and sign in. And they're going to give you all the paths verbally. I'm reading them, I'm doing them. I'm leading you through them as a guided meditation, and they're set to music. And listen to Path 31. And folks, it is going to give everybody who's on the call with me this evening a good insight into what's going on in your life right now. And it'll kind of put your mindset in the right place to deal with everything that's coming up for you in the next month. So these paths, these cards equate to the free tab on my website. This particular card talks about your moving into a higher level of consciousness and bringing all of the energy of all of the things in your world together to focus them in a direction which brings you up towards your goals. It's a lot more detailed than that. It's a pretty amazing experience. I really want everybody after this call ends to go and listen to that. You're going to be you're just going to be having so much fun with it. Okay, Lisa, I'm done making my announcements. Our next psychic hour is March 30th. So please put it on your calendar, and they're always 9 p.m. Eastern time. Lisa, who's our first caller for this evening?
All right, the first lucky person of the draw is Melinda. Melinda, can you unmute?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Melinda. How are you?
Good. It's so great to see you ladies. So I'm Melinda from Ohio and I'm a Virgo. And I am most grateful for the beautiful friendships that I have in this life. I have a couple of really good friends that I've been friends with for a long time. And so I'm very grateful. Um,
That truly is something to cherish. Thanks for sharing that with us.
yes. So my question is, I have been experiencing, oh, sorry.
Hold on. You're moving ahead of me. Hold on to that thought. Sorry to interrupt you. So you're
Sorry.
Linda from Ohio, and you're grateful for your friends. But what's your sun sign?
Virgo.
Okay. Oh, you did say that in the beginning. I'm sorry, I missed it.
That's
Let me
that's
give you
okay.
a little astrological information before you funnel me into your question. Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have Virgo up here. The Virgo begins in this chart at 13 degrees. That's almost halfway through the sign. You're 30 degrees in a sign. So half of it is in the house of friends, which she was just talking about how grateful she is for those wonderful friends. And the other half of it is in the 12th house, which has you looking internally, really recording your dreams, getting deep into your unconscious, looking at your own motivations, but kind of really looking at your internal world, knowing that the external world is rolling out from that. Folks, what I'm saying is going to affect everyone who is a Virgo, a Pisces, a Gemini, and a Sagittarius. Those are the four mutable signs, okay? And again, this goes through, and the opposition here, look at this. It's an amazing stellium. That means a group of planets. Part of this goes through the opposition. Part of it affects her sun sign. So she's really maybe with some of these friends, helping them to deal with friends, helping them to deal with romances and relationships. And hey, gee, what opportunities do I have in life? So there's a lot of action going on with your friends that's kind of illuminating, and they've got a lot going on, and you're probably very helpful with that. Also, part of this, look at that grouping of planets in Pisces opposing Virgo. We have Mercury, we have Saturn, we have the North Node, we have Pisces. Oh my God. And this sixth house is the house of health. So there are and have been, Melinda, quite a few health issues around you. Okay. Now, you may also find yourself having an opportunity to either work in the health field or to help, just be a helper with something that's healing or health related, or relating to the health of animals, taking care of them, because animals come into this house as well. But if we look at that grouping, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, this is like the lid is off, and I'm really looking at a whole lot of things. I'm finding things out about people in my family, about people in my work, about people who are my close friends and their families. And frankly, I don't know what to say. I know that sounds very strange, but when you see this kind of and I don't mean me, Sandy, I mean you, when you see this kind of a conglomeration where it's like everybody needs or wants your help, but even when you do see clearly, there are a whole lot of things that you just have to bite your tongue on. And you know that you really, you could be there as a support system, but you really can't get involved. So there is a lot of that kind of thing that's going on for you as well. We have a T square because this Virgo energy, it is making a hard aspect to Jupiter. That's in Gemini in the ninth house. So you might be anticipating going back and forth between two different localities. This also could be somebody, especially when we tie it into the house of health over here, could be somebody who is far from you, who's having some severe health issues that you may really be thinking about, how can I help from a distance, or maybe I have to go and make a visit. So there could be desires to do that. And also this house over here with all the planets in it has to do with your daily life. Oh my God, things are happening. There are responsibilities, there are changes, there are things coming up that you didn't expect. it's just kind of a hodgepodge of stuff going on. And part of you says, you know, it might be great to take a vacation, just get away from all this. And another part of you says, well, maybe it's time to change the residence or change the work. Okay. So does it sound like, if you're a mutable sign, a Virgo, a Pisces, a Gemini, or a Sagittarius, that you've got a lot going on? Absolutely. And guess what? It's only just beginning. You're looking at you're looking at the surface of that iceberg piercing through the water. The rest of it is underneath. It's coming. Okay. There's a lot going on, folks. There's a lot. Now that T-square sends the energy into the third house Sagittarius. You probably are in the talking stages and the thinking stages right now, and you're really thinking about, what do I want? And I think what I really want is to have some distance. I want to be able to write. I want to be able to communicate with the people I'm close to. I want to share, but I want to have objectivity from all these things that are going on so that I can get my equilibrium back around me. And then maybe I can reach out and be the helper, be the person I really want to be with all these people around me. Nothing makes Virgo happier than being able to help somebody who really needs that help. Okay, how am I doing? And what's your question?
You are amazing as always. Yes, I'm definitely in a period of pulling back, recentering myself, trying to stay really grounded in my own truth and drawing boundaries. You know, there's a lot of craziness, but in the midst of it, you know, these gifts tend to sometimes get a little crazy. And so there have been quite a few times that it's almost felt like a health issue, but it's not, where the energy has come. Like, I don't know if it was like a spirit that came in or if just this energy came into my house in such a way that I felt it in my entire gut and being. And so I ground and I do the invocation of the archangels and I make sure that I am, you know, protected a lot. But I don't know what these energy shifts are sometimes.
Yeah, what my guides are telling me is that the one that you were just thinking about, that was not an entity coming in. That literally is the energy shift that you're feeling. So you're apparently, I'm going to use a word that many of the people on here will not understand, but you'll understand the results of it because you're all going through it. You're channeling energies that are different than what you're used to channeling. They're more, it's a more refined energy. So a lot of you are getting things like you're getting buzzing in your ear or high-pitched sound. That's an indication. Some of you might be having, like you talked about, flu-like symptoms, but there's nothing going on. That's your body literally clearing itself out of the old dreck from that old you. We're going through a period of a literal shift of the energies that are moving through the planet around us and that we move through. Trying to think how I could give this to you in an image. If you can imagine, you know, you're sitting there and you're looking at a fish tank. You know, maybe you're in a restaurant that has a nice big fish tank and you're looking at it. And you've got all those fish that are swimming around in that water. You know, the fish have no idea they're in water, no more than you and I have any idea that we're in air. You see that? So imagine that those fish, excuse me, are moving through energy. And as they're moving through, you'll see by where they're situating themselves and how they're moving around the tank that they might be very comfortable. But all of a sudden, the temperature in the water goes up a little bit. They all get strange. They have to adjust to this. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what's basically going on with the energy.
Okay. It was almost like going down a roller coaster ride. I was just kind of sitting here and it was like that drop in my stomach, but I could feel it in the room, if that makes sense. It was like, yeah, it was just very strange.
Yeah,
But it's happened a couple times.
yeah, and almost like you're talking about the room almost being like one room visually on top of the other room, like two rooms. Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is very clearly, apparently you also have some clairvoyance going on there, so you're able to see it. That's a dimensional shift. You're
Okay.
Again, this is stuff a lot of people, now you understand why if you happen to be a Virgo, your subconscious is really getting activated and you're looking at all these things. But all the rest of us mutable signs are too. We are experiencing things in the world around us, even if you didn't take psychic development, that are impossible to explain. Like
Yeah.
Melinda, you may be seeing your living room, but somehow it's not your living room. It's like there's one reality superimposed upon the other. And you get to
Yeah.
make a choice, Melinda, about which living room you want to be in. And one of those living rooms is a 3D living room going in the 3D direction. And the other living room is a 4D or a 5D living room that's going to move into a higher dimensional frequency. And you happen
Okay.
to be seeing it, okay? And needless to say, it is like being on a roller coaster. It is kind of disorienting. There is the feeling of, hey, if I put my foot down on the floor, is it even solid? Okay, there is
Yeah.
moving through that dimensional shift. Many of the people who are on the call tonight have experienced, maybe not as strongly as you have, but they've experienced things with their vision where you're looking at something and all of a sudden it becomes, something which was a flat surface just becomes three-dimensional. Like you can almost look around it and through it and see the whole object. Or maybe you don't have good long distance vision and all of a sudden you're able to make something out that's 500 yards away and you're like, how did I do that? Or perhaps you walk into a room and you literally were able to visualize and feel what was going on in that room before you walked into it. We're all having these experiences. People, and they're, for me, that's normal, that's ordinary because that's my life. I've lived in that world for a long time. Those are psychic experiences. But why are you having them is part of this dimensional shift, part of this growth that you're experiencing is opening up those psychic energy centers. And I really should have known what this was, your conversation was going to be about. Remember that card I picked
Oh
before
yeah.
our session began? Just look at this. We have the person in the volcano being lifted up, and we have all of these creatures of phantasm, like and they're floating around,
It's
i.e.,
beautiful.
dimensional shift, and
It's
everything possible right now, isn't
um,
it?
so yeah, I have seen things with my eyes for a long time, but to feel it that way in my body too is just it makes total sense.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I love that card. It's beautiful.
I looked at it and I said, this is an interesting card. This is going to be an interesting night.
Yes, I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Thank you so much. And happy Valentine's Day to you and Lisa as well. Happy belated.
So much.
Thank you.
Before you leave, I did pick some cards from my regular old Rider Waite deck.
Huh?
The first one I picked is the past. This is you inverted Four of Pentacles, letting go. You've been doing a lot of letting go lately. And this is
Hmm.
your swords also inverted. There's been a lot of heartache, but you're putting it in the past by letting go. And the immediate future holds a hanged man, which says you are going into this period of objective observing and waiting. But
Okay.
internally, there's tremendous transformation going on.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it in so many different ways. Yes, I'm very grateful. And you ladies play a big part in that. Trust me. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much.
Yes, we'll talk soon. Bye.
So, Lisa, who's next?
All right. Our second person tonight, I hope I pronounced her name correctly, is Celise. Celise, can you unmute?
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes. Is it Felice or Felicia?
It's Celise with a
Okay,
C.
Lisa, you're right on.
Yes, you are.
So,
Good
Felicia,
evening, ladies, and everyone else on the call, too. Happy Valentine's Day.
yeah. So, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Hot Springs, Arkansas, Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. And
Oh, that sounds very exotic.
it's the largest gated community in the United States, and it's very cold here. We just got done with a big ice spell, and we're just now starting to be able to come out of our houses. Um, but I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the weather. I'm grateful for um, just really right now I'm grateful for life.
Mhm.
I would like to get specific, but right now I have to go broader, and I'm grateful for life. Um,
And what's your
my son's
son's
sign, Pisces.
Pisces? Okay.
Yes. So a
So,
lot of what you were explaining just a little bit ago with the mutable
right.
signs made a lot of sense.
Let me
Um,
let me just focus a little bit more specifically on Pisces here, though, because Pisces is occupying the house that normally deals with health. And also the sun is in Pisces. So even though it's not in the health house, this is a very energetic house, by the way. The fifth house it's filled with life. It just explodes into life. It's that kind of a house in astrology. So there's all this energy that you have, but there are also a whole lot of health issues that I don't know if they're yours or around you, but they are going to be very concerning for you and probably are affecting your daily life situation in one way or another. Okay, so kind of add that on to everything else that I just spoke to Melinda about. Okay, um, so what's your specific question?
uh, I was wanting to be called, but I was also hoping in a way not to be called because my specific question, I don't necessarily, I'm so scattered right now. I'm insanely scattered. I feel like everything's great, and I as well am very sensitive to energies. So that's also been something that's been a part of my life for a while. Um, and I kind of shifted away from it, and I've started getting back into it. And things have been really not so wonderful for the past few years. And then I'm just scattered. I'm just scattered, and I don't know where to start to even become unscattered. Things that I love usually, I'm not really loving, and if I do, it's only for maybe 30 minutes at a time. Um, I'm just lost. I'm all over the place and lost. I feel like I'm spread so thin everywhere, and I would
Okay.
like to gather myself back.
Well, and you know, from what I see of these astrological transits, just to make you feel better, you're not alone. Every one of the mutable signs on this call is feeling the same kind of energy that you're feeling. Every one of the Pisces on this call is feeling just as lost and scattered as you are. One of the interesting things about this time period, this chart also happens to show a Capricorn moon in it. Now, if you were normally a person who had no sense of responsibility and scattered yourself and played through life, you would find everything going on right now just fine. Okay.
Well, that is how I've been actually. I mean, I've always had responsibilities, or I've been responsible, but I've always played through life. That's definitely what I've been doing.
Well, the thing is,
So,
though, you played through life, but you took care of all those responsibilities. And all of
yes.
those responsibilities were the balloon that held you, you see? And I think that a big part of the reason you're feeling so scattered right now, because you are energetically sensitive, and there is so much going on in our world right now, and frankly, it's discordant. Okay,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
almost like you're listening to. I hope, folks, I have to describe this in Pisces energetic thinking because she's a Pisces. So you folks who aren't Pisces, you just have to bear with me for a moment and pretend you are one. Okay, imagine an orchestra, and you love music, Pisces. Oh, Pisces rules music, by the way. And you're listening to this wonderful orchestra, and everybody in that orchestra knows how to play. They're virtuosos. They know how to play perfectly, but all the instruments are out of tune, and nobody is playing at the same pace. They've all got different pieces of music, and that's what you're listening to in the world right now, energetically.
Right.
Now, does the
That
fact that
makes
you're
sense.
scattered make a little more sense to you?
It absolutely makes sense. It's come and gone, and before I've been able to handle it, there's a lot of, like you said, discord right now. It's going on with relationships, definitely, and where before I've always been the person to put their shoes on, see it from the other side, or see what I'm responsible, how I can hold myself accountable for everything. But I've gotten to the point where I also need to keep my boundaries and not always be so concerned about what I might be possibly doing wrong for and to make their lives better. And I feel I don't know how to go about that as well.
Well, just
From being able to see things from their side and then being able to hold my own boundaries at the same time and stick with it and not allow myself to be controlled or to be affected, that kind of thing, if that makes
in
sense.
it makes total sense. And I'm going to get biblical on you for a moment, and we're going to refer back to Melinda's session. We talked in her reading about us going through a dimensional shift. We are. Right now, we have people on this planet who are on the third dimension, the fourth dimension, and the fifth dimension. We've got people literally living in different dimensions on the same planet. Now, people who are in the fifth dimension can see all of the other people. You can see it all. People who are in the third dimension will be able to see the people in the fourth, but not relate well to them. But they won't be able to see the people in the fifth. Literally, they walk right through you. They won't know you're there. Okay. And all of this is going on at the same time. I know it sounds weird, folks, but start to reframe what's going on in the world around you, and you'll start to understand that this really is real. It's just crazy, but it's real. Think about your last trip to the supermarket and just pulling into the parking lot and walking into the store. And were you in your own space and just moving in your own speed? Or were you paying attention to all those people who were busy jamming their shopping carts at each other? Or, I mean, you can literally see all these different levels of consciousness in an
Hmm.
everyday event like taking yourself out grocery shopping. Okay, so you're seeing this discordance out there. So what's actually happening here is that as we're moving through what energetically is an evolutional opportunity for everyone who's on the planet right now, everyone has the same opportunity, but not everybody sees it and not everybody's going to take it. In the Bible, they call that the separation of the wheat from the chaff. Now, if somebody chooses to remain totally in that 3D mentality and get involved in the, the negatives and the sometimes violence and the, whether it's a stealing or just a dog eat dog kind of a world situation, that's 3D. That's where 3D is right now. There are many people who still want to be involved on that level because that's the way that they know how to relate. But you're not on that level. Energetically, you're probably on either a high 4D or a low 5D, depending on the day level, you see.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you're not really going to be able to, you're not going to be able to even sit at those people through a dinner because they're going to irritate you so much. You're literally finding their vibration feels like sandpaper across the top of your head. It hurts. Okay.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you with that 100%. I have found a nice tribe here of a few girlfriends who see the world as I do. We see it similar, and we always think we're out there, and but in a fun way, out there in a fun way. We
We
speak very
are.
highly of each other with being we're like thinking we're making things up, and then we both say we're thinking. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's I found my tribe here as we're aliens or something.
And why is there
So
all this chaos in the world? There's this chaos in the world because people are sorting themselves out into where they belong, where they're going to be most comfortable. But while we're all in this container and being tousled around with each other, there is this chaos going on. And you do have to set boundaries and you do have to be very careful what you agree to. Let me
mm,
give you an
mm,
example. If you're in your high 4D situation and you're really relaxed and you're in a happy mode and you're doing helpful things for people and you're doing all of your spiritual meditations and life is good for you if you're in that level. It just,
mhm.
everything's smooth and all of a sudden a family member or a kid of a close friend is going to jail and everybody's all upset and they have to go and yell at the judge and there's all this really negative 3D stuff going on and you want to help and so you get pulled into it. But you see, if you get
Yes,
pulled into that, you will lose your high 4D conscious awareness and you may not be able to get it back. You see, we are at a point right now where all of us folks, I hope you understand what I'm saying. We all have to set boundaries we don't have a choice anymore. Because if you don't set boundaries regarding not just the what you will be involved with, but the how you will be involved with it, if you don't set those boundaries, you're going to lose your opportunity to grow. And it might not come again for a millennia. You know, the soul is very old. Your soul has been around for several billion years. This is a big opportunity. And if you make the wrong choices, if you don't set those boundaries, if you don't block off that energy that you don't want to be in your environment, you might just be overtaken by it and have to wait another couple of billion years before it comes again.
Do my guides have any suggestions on the easiest way to be able to set those boundaries and keep them?
No, part of your learning experience is that.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
You
Yeah,
know, I
yeah.
did pick a couple of cards for you coming in. The first one is right now you are dreadfully afraid of making any choices at all because
Yes.
apparently in the past, especially relative to relationships, there have been some really wrong choices that pulled you very badly off of your track. And you're really, really worried about being pulled into that kind of darkness. And it's the only way I can describe it, that kind of darkness again. And, you know, all I can say about that is that experience isn't something to be lingered over or beleaguered. It is to be processed because that's how you've learned how to set boundaries. You got it?
Absolutely, and it makes perfect sense.
Has taught you. Okay, the next card I picked, which is the now, this is the moon card. And this talks about your journey being one which is really getting back into being in touch with your feelings. You know, Pisces is supposed to be the most feeling consciousness of all of the sun signs. And yet I suspect that you went through a very long period where you were turning off and ignoring your feelings. And so your challenge, if you will, right now is to really pay attention to those feelings. And if something feels bad, you need to not go. You need to not be involved. Only be involved in the things that actually feel good. And I don't care if you're in the middle of a wonderful conversation with someone. If it suddenly turns into something that doesn't work for you, you need to remove yourself from it. And the final card I picked was this inverted Ace of Cups. And why is it inverted? Because you already know what I just said. You know, I haven't told you no, but it doesn't give you the warm fuzzies. You know, you want to be able
Yeah.
to, yeah, you want to go through life without any boundaries, and it's okay, and you can do it because all the other people around you know how to treat you well and never mistreat you, and everything is smooth and wonderful all the time. And you know, that may one day be the world you live in, but it's not going to be in your world until you are firmly in that new dimension you're moving towards. That
Okay.
is your
Okay.
future. If you make it's your future if you don't get pulled in emotionally to the lower vibration.
And this is exactly what I'm going through. You're spot on, absolutely spot on. And thank you very, very much. I already feel so much better. I felt so much better when I got on the call. So I appreciate that very
And
much.
I've got to tell you, when we first got on the call and I pulled this card and I said, "Oh man, this is going to be a winner of a conversation this evening." It is, it definitely is, but I think it's exactly what we all need. So,
Yeah.
Lisa, who's our next caller?
Couldn't find my button. See, I'm already doing the shift, so I'm not really here in reality.
I know
Our
that
next,
that button is in 3D and you are not. I get it.
oh, that's true. It moves. The next caller is going to be Karen. Karen, can you unmute?
Hello.
Hi there, Karen.
I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm a Libra moon, sun, moon, rising. And
Wow,
I'm
you're a
thankful
triple.
for my ancestors.
Did I just hear right? You are a triple Libra?
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh my God. Lisa is a Libra too. Lisa, listen carefully. There are going to be a lot of things that my guides tell her that every Libra on this call needs to know because you are a super Libra. Okay. So you are a Libra from Pennsylvania. And let's just see
Yes.
what the cardinal signs are doing. What are you most grateful for right now?
Um, all my loved ones have passed that help me every day energetically.
Hmm.
Yep. Very. It's beautiful.
They're all, you mean they're on the other side, they passed.
Yeah, they've all passed, but yet they're still here helping me. It's neat.
I get
Just
it.
the
I
signs
really
and
get
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thank you for saying that. You know, one of the things when I saw the chart for this evening that I was very aware of, this chart, in many respects, is a death chart. It's talking about so many of us going through different kinds of deaths. And it could be the death of moving from one dimension to another and having to let go of the people that we love and care for, but are never going to leave 3D. That's where they want to be. It could have to do with people passing and us having to, as you have, resolve those issues within ourselves and maybe open up the psychic abilities that we all have to still be able to relate to them through the veil, which obviously you have, which is beautiful. The thing is, this chart shows that. And I've been kind of waiting for the person who was going to bring it up. And I'm very grateful that you have um, been able to find that comfort with those people who passed that you loved so dearly. Um, I don't know how many people on this call have lost people who are really close to them, but as long as you are in the, I'm trying to think of the word for it. As long as you're in a extreme emotional grief, that that period of grief, which is hurting and angry and holding on and rebelling and just it's a mixture of feelings. As long as you're in that stage of grief, you can't get to where she is at. You have to be able to move through that to get to the part where now you can feel them sitting next to you or feel their amusement at something that somebody said in a conversation. Or when you're looking for a
Absolutely.
word, they'll supply it to you and you mentally say
Mhm.
thank you. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Because you see, they're not gone. They are also in another dimension. It's not, they could very well be in 3D, 4D, 5D, but they're in a dimension that is a part of that spiritual plane that we are not able to see. But as we're evolving, we're able to feel them and we're able to still interact with them. And I want to say thank you again very much for sharing that because a lot of people don't realize that because our society hasn't really accepted those things for so long. So when you would have a loved one, reach out and touch you, there was an there was a feeling of fear instead of acceptance. Or when they'd laugh and you heard their laughter, you just yelled at yourself and said, that's wrong to be hanging on like that because they're not here anymore. I'm just beating myself up. We were very negative about pushing that away. And yet that can be such a tremendous strength to us in moving through life. Okay, so thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Libra in this chart is in the first house, begins at 10. So part of it is in the house of looking deep inside, that 12th house, but most of it's in the
Mhm.
first house here, which is right now, the things that you do and the positions you take and the way you interact through life, I don't know if you're aware of it, it's affecting a lot of people. Because you are a Libra in particular, it's a little different than the other cardinal signs. In this chart, Mars is in Cancer, that's cardinal. Chiron and Venus are in Aries in the seventh house of relationship, that's cardinal. And the moon is in the fourth house of the mother and the home and the family. It's in Capricorn, and that's cardinal. So between these three cardinal signs, we have a T square that for most cardinal signs is putting the energy out into Libra. And so most of the cardinal sign people right now are having to shoulder the burdens of a lot of the people around them, their family members, their relationship partners, the people at work. So a lot of you cardinal people, that would be the Cancers, the Capricorns, and the Aries, are stepping forward to take responsibility that other people need help with, or that maybe they're not even doing their job. You're shouldering that and you're taking it on. You're saying, I can do it. So most of the cardinal people who are on the call are kind of undergoing a finding out all the things they're really capable of doing. Now, if you're a Libra, you are also carrying that, but not in the same way the others are. You can't get away from it because now this has created a grand cross. So if you're a Libra, you may very well be seeing yourself kind of as the pack horse. Okay. Nobody can make a decision unless they ask you. Everybody is putting it on your shoulders, and you're going to be looking at it and saying, do I want this? So you may be finding yourself backing out of things, backing out of relationships, or as we were talking about with our last caller, setting boundaries that make you step aside so that you can really think about what you want to be involved with or don't want to be involved with. Because as soon as you get involved, you can't get away. It's almost like everything that you agree to do, a person you agree to go out with, a job you agree to do, a family function you agree to take part in becomes a lifelong obligation. Okay, so it's your handling of things and what decisions and choices you make in your life right now are really very, very important. So what is your specific question? You were just at the point of asking it when I
Yeah.
jumped in.
Um, Talking about partnerships,
Hmm.
looking to move our money with somebody else. I've been with a fella from high school, and was very sad how he handled things when we got together. Just heavy alcohol and didn't have any of our papers printed out, and I was very alarmed. And I know I need to move on from him.
Yes, definitely.
And so the people that I'm going to is Matt and Dave, and just feel like I have a really good relationship with them. And, just, for confirmation, just is that a good move?
I'm going to show you because I know you know a little bit about the
Oh,
cards.
yeah.
This is the card I proved to that or picked for that. It's the tower right side up.
And that's with the guy that I'm with now.
No, that's the guys you're going to.
Oh,
And the
no.
reason for the tower is that it's right side up. So the direct answer to your question, when I teach the cards, right side up is yes, upside down is no. Very simple.
Okay.
Okay. Right side up. So the answer is yes. The problem is that he has created so much chaos with everything that you're going to be pulling your hair out because I think things are lost. Things haven't been filed right. Things are going to have to be undone. There could be, do we have to get fined on this? Do we have to redo this? It's going to be a freaking nightmare.
Mm.
Okay. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be fixed, does it? But now it comes back into things falling on your shoulders. You are the one who's going to have to get rid of the other guy. You're the one who's going to have to take the burden of making the decision. And you're the one who's going to have to deal with everybody else in the family saying, oh, that was so stupid, you did that. Okay. And
Mhm.
you are going to have to be the one that deals with getting all the papers going forward in order because these other people can't do the work unless everything gets organized and they know what they're working on.
Wow.
It's big. This is huge.
It's been a mess. Yeah, I feel like it's
But
been a
you're
mess.
right. You
Yeah.
can't, you absolutely can't leave it with him. And I know
Mm-mm.
I think, and this is where, accept the fault for this.
Yeah.
First card I turned up, I picked cards as you were talking before. Ten
Hmm.
of wands. You assumed that this guy was going to, he wasn't so sharp, but he had his problems, but he was going to carry the burden. He was going to do the work. He was going to finish the job. You made that assumption because that's who he used to be. Okay.
Hmm.
And that's who you are. So you kind of projected at him. And what you discovered, and by the way, because of that, you stayed with him long after you should have left. And that's the
Hmm.
biggest problem. You see, you knew you should have left him probably 3 years ago.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Here's his alcohol. And I think
Yep.
one of the things that's the devil upside down. I think one
Hmm.
of the problems you've had is that, you're a helper. And he kept saying, I'm trying to fix this. And he's getting off he's telling you about how he's getting his life straightened out. And you're a caring person. You want to give him a break. You want to trust that this is real, that he's going to be in AA. He's going to do the job. And unfortunately, he didn't. And this
Mhm.
last card is you walking away. And that is, of course, the Eight of Cups, you walking
Mhm.
away. Okay.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful with the new people. You did learn an extremely important lesson here,
Mhm.
and take that lesson on before you just sign up with these new people. Find out enough about them, see if you can get testimonials from other people they've done work for. How many years have they been doing their finances? Have they been happy with them? That's all you need to know.
Well, the interesting thing is we went to them before we went to this other fella. And because my kids were looking to go to college. So, they helped us, get set up for them to go to college. Ironically, both my kids didn't go to college. They're both entrepreneurs. And, you know, they're, so it's interesting how it worked out. You know what I
So you
mean?
have your own testimonial, and they did
Yeah.
the job, and
Yes,
you were
they
happy that
did.
the
They
job.
did a good job.
Right. And when you go into their office and you go to see them now, this chart here, folks, everybody listen to this. All of these planets in the sixth house in Pisces, they're talking about all of your, not just physical senses, but your psychic senses. Folks, every one of us needs these right now. I've got to tell you this, your survival depends on you paying attention to your psyche. Whether you're a psychic or not, I don't care. If you have a bad feeling about something, you don't do it. If something feels really good, that gut feeling, you do it. If something says, oh, I don't want to do this, you say no. We have to start paying attention to those psychic feelings. Otherwise, we're not going to survive. So when you go to their office, what psychic feeling do you get from it?
Just trustworthy. They're going to do what they tell me. High vibe. Really good with both of them.
Okay, then that's the one you should be going to. And that
Hmm.
explains why, remember I said the card I turned over, it was the Tower.
Yeah.
This whole situation is a debacle. That's
Hmm.
why the tower is involved. But there
Yeah.
is going to be freedom after the tower is done. And
Hmm.
you have to go through it. You have to make the transition. You wish you didn't, but
Hmm.
when you're all done, you're going to be in a better situation.
Yeah. That's what I felt. That's what I felt with these other guys. They're going to really help us out.
Yep.
Ironically, like me, my husband, and both my boys are with him now. And so I tried to point out to them during the meeting, like not during the meeting, but after we left, did you smell the alcohol? You know what I mean? Like just to try and teach them, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I definitely never saw that coming. I just didn't. I didn't see it until we sat down. And I was really upset with myself.
Well, and you were probably picking up these things all along, but you didn't want to make the change because as we were talking to the one of the previous callers, it's one more bit of chaos in a life that's already chaotic.
Hmm.
You see? Do I
Yeah.
really want to embark on doing this big thing at this time when everything else is crazy? You
Hmm.
see?
Yeah.
But you listen to your insight and you know that's the right thing to do. I'm
Yeah.
sorry that you've got
Absolutely.
everything all boggled up on you, but it will get straightened out.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think in the process of it getting straightened out, you're going to discover a lot of things that you just weren't told that he was doing incorrectly.
Wow. Wow.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandy.
You're welcome. And I did spend a little bit longer because we had some very interesting conversations that we got into this evening. So I spent a little bit longer with the three people that I worked with. But folks, this gives you a little bit of an idea of how my guides and I work when I work with someone. These are short sessions, but that I think they were helpful to everybody. I want to appreciate every single one of you people who has been on here with me this evening. And I want to remind you that if you were here until the end, you should either send me an email directly from this site or to Lisa SA Inc. at AOL.com. I'll get it either way. And your name, where you're from, what you're most grateful for, your sun sign, that's extremely important, and your question. And my guides and I will get back to you probably within the next 2 weeks. We're not as fast as we used to be, but we still do answer every single question. Folks, thank you so much for being here this evening. Your energy, your vibration, you guys are really, really good. And I can't, what am I most grateful for? You, because it gives me a sense of joy when I feel the energy coming from so many of you who have really done the work on yourselves, and you're in a good place, and things are good now and they're getting better because you're doing the right things. You're doing the work that brings you to a better place. I'm grateful for you. Thank you. And I'll see you next month on March 30th. Good night, everyone.